So I thought I would continue on this thinking about playing Krim or Crimea von Manstein's Battles for Sevastopol, 1941-42. Continue on this thinking about playing series of videos. What we have here is the initial Soviet setup. I did it very quickly without giving a lot of thought, just following the basic setup rules that are in the actual text of the rules. The Soviets have to occupy this line of hexes in the north here. Then the Soviets can set up in various towns and large towns. I thought I would emphasize defense of this, the main central axis towards Sevastopol, and these 3 units down here must start in the vicinity of Sevastopol. I put the Naval Infantry Brigade in Sevastopol itself, and the 2 other divisions, a militia division and the 2nd Infantry Division, outside in the fortifications to the northeast and east of Sevastopol. Up here, these tall stacks up here are the Soviet reinforcements by turn on the turn track here. And over here are the starting German and Romanian units. All of these units will enter the game on turn 1. We have some infantry, artillery, engineers, flak, 3 Air Force units, some armored artillery or assault guns. I guess assault guns is better term. What else? Got some Romanian units there as well, as I said. So they will all come in on the north edge there on turn 1. These Romanian units, at first I thought the black writing on the dark green or forest green, I thought that would be difficult to read, but in natural light, with natural light, it's actually not that bad. So I thought we'd take another look at the rules. These are the Axis reinforcements. So they have some units coming in on turn 2. They have an assault gun unit on turn 4. Some Air Force units on turn 6. Large stack of units including assault boats. Coming in some Romanian reinforcements on turn 7. And final reinforcements on turn 8. Alright, I thought we'd take a general look at the rules again, keying in on some key rules mechanics. So again, the turn sequence, at the start of the month, there's a mutual operational supply check. Then there's a Soviet player turn followed by a German player turn. Soviet player turn is new units phase, operational transfer phase, movement phase, and then prepared assault phase. German player turn is new units phase, operational transfer phase. Those 2 are the same as the Soviets player turn. Then they have movement and mobile assault phase, and then prepared assault phase like the Soviets. And then at the end of the month only, there's a mutual operational supply check. So let's see how much the rules follow the actual sequence of play. New units phase. So we do have German replacements. So for German replacements, units receiving replacements must be in both operational and tactical supply at the instant of receipt. No unit which has been totally destroyed may receive replacements, except for the Romanian and assault gun replacements listed. German artillery, flak, and combat engineer units may never receive replacements. Okay, and then we have replacement schedule. Replacement steps become available during the first German new units phase of the appropriate calendar month. Replacement steps may be accumulated. Keep track of them on scratch paper. Okay, so I guess there's no track for that provided. German player receives replacements as follows. Okay, March, calendar month 5. April, calendar month 6. May, calendar month 7. German and Romanian reinforcements. Okay, so the game has replacements and reinforcements. Reinforcements are fresh units enter play for the first time. Automatically enter play at their full strength, except for a few exceptions. Alright, entry. Reinforcements enter at Jankoi, which is N13 on the northern edge of the map. Placement, entering costs are each arriving unit 1 movement point. Okay. Place the new air units with the air units already in play. Okay, Soviet reinforcements. Soviet reinforcements become available at the beginning of the calendar month, which corresponds to the number printed on the unit's reverse sides. Okay, so that's like, grab these ones. Number 2. Oh. So this number, okay, so this number on the back of the Soviet units doesn't represent the turn, it represents the month. That explains 2 through 8. Because on the turn track up here, you have, the turn track is divided into months, like month 8 here. The last month of the game, corresponding to June and July, calendar months, has 3, I guess, game turns, I guess. Or, yeah. Okay, so the number, so this is wrong. So these, which all have an 8 on the back, or actually a 7 on the back of them. So these are corresponds to the number printed on the unit's reverse side. So available at the beginning of the calendar month. Okay, so that must be 7. And then, yep, 6. And 5. Okay. This tall stack. Very tall stack. It's going, okay, month 4, month 3, month 2. Okay. That makes a huge difference. All right. So the Germans, yeah. Okay, so the number on the Axis units in the upper left. Here, I'll show you. So here's a flak unit, flak ad hoc task force battalion task force. The 8 in the upper left refers to the 8th calendar month as a reinforcement arrival indicator. Okay, these are all 7. Six. Okay. 4, 2. All right. Straighten that out. Soviet reinforcements enter the game via the Kerch Straits or the quick reaction box up here in the top left of the map, game map. All right. So, operational transfer phase. Okay, movement and operational transfers have their own rules section, number 8. So the operational transfers, again, is a form of movement which allows units to move much farther than they could using regular movement. Any unit in tactical supply at the start of the op-trans phase may conduct an operational transfer. A unit conducting an op-trans has an unlimited number of movement points, so may move from any point to any point on the map in one move. It may start the phase adjacent to an enemy unit. It may start. Unit may not enter any hex it could not enter using regular movement, nor may conduct a mobile assault. Must stop as soon as it enters a hex next to an enemy unit, even if it is the same enemy unit it started next to, and even if a friendly unit is already in the new hex. It may not move during the following movement phase. In the following combat phase, it may not conduct a prepared assault or barrage. It defends and may retreat normally in the following enemy player turn. No op-trans may be conducted during the first calendar month. Okay. Movement. Okay. Again, about stacking. Both players may stack up to 4 divisions. So this 46th German Infantry Division may stack with 3 other divisions in any one hex. Non-divisional units, brigades, regiments, and battalions each count as 1/2 of a division. Stacking is checked at the following times: the end of each movement phase, at the end of each combat phase, at the end of each individual retreat, at the end of each advance after combat, and at the instant a mobile assault is launched. Okay, so holding box and mobile assaults. Okay, mobile assaults take place within a hex. The stacking limits of the 2 sides are mutually exclusive. Okay, each side may have up to 4 divisions involved in a mobile assault. Okay. Okay, supply. Immediately before unit starts moving, check to see if it is in tactical supply. Units with no tactical supply at that instant move that turn with only half their printed movement factor, round remainders up. Again, the movement of stacks, terrain, 2 kinds of terrain, natural and man-made. There are 5 types of natural terrain which affect play: clear, broken hill, marsh, and river. The first 4 exist in a hex. Rivers exist along hex sides. Okay, and then each hex contains only 1 kind of natural terrain. There are 6 kinds of man-made terrain: entrenchments, fortifications, the city of Sevastopol, towns, large towns, and railroads. Any number of these terrain types may exist in a given hex. Okay, terrain effects on movement. Man-made terrain does not affect movement. The type of natural terrain in a hex or along a hex side determines the number of movement points required to enter the hex or cross the hex side. Summarized on the terrain effects chart. In some cases, the terrain costs differ for mechanized and non-mechanized units. In passable terrain, weather. There are 3 kinds of weather in Crimea: clear, mud, and frost. Weather makes itself felt in the game primarily through the different number of player turn couplets in each calendar month. But here are some additional effects of mud and frost. December, March, and April are mud months, and January and February are frost months. Okay, that probably, let's see, that, December. Okay, so that corresponds to the shading on the turn track. The Light blue hash marks indicate mud for the correct months, and then this light blue color indicates the frost months. Okay, so mud, no mobile assaults are allowed. Crossing river hex sides costs 1 movement point in addition to the cost of entering the hex. Ignore rivers during non-mud months. Okay. Frost, mobile assaults may be launched into marsh terrain. Soviet units entering play via the Kerch Straits may continue their movement after crossing. Railways and railroad artillery. The only purpose of the railroads running south out of Jankoy is to govern the movement of the German players' railroad artillery. Those units may only move and retreat along German-controlled railroad hexes. All right, railroad artillery units. Railroad artillery. Okay, the railroad artillery units have a heavy bar along the bottom of the unit type box underneath the artillery symbol. Okay. All right. Okay, we already talked about operational transfers. So back to prepared assault. Let's go to mobile assaults for the Germans. Mobile assaults. Mobile assaults are conducted by one hex against one hex. Multi-hex mobile assaults are not allowed, and the concentric attack bonus is not available for mobile assaults. Okay, eligible units, movement, cost, terrain, and weather. Okay. Stacking limits must be met in the hex from which the MA is launched at the instant the mobile assault is launched. The stacking limits of the two sides are mutually exclusive. Stacks. To conduct a mobile assault together, units must begin the movement phase stacked together. Resolution of mobile assaults. They're resolved the same way as prepared assaults. Combat takes into account tactical supply, the terrain in the defender's hex, and any air power used by either side. A defending unit or units may be the target of more than one mobile assault in the same phase, by one or more attacking units or stacks. Supply. Air support may be committed by both sides. Normal air support rules apply. Use of an air unit in a mobile assault, in attack or defense, constitutes use of that air unit for the turn. One air unit cannot support multiple mobile assaults in the same hex. It may support only a single combat. Retreats. Advance after combat. Both sides survive. So in cases where both sides absorb their full combat result as steps lost, or step losses, and there are surviving units from both sides, the moving player has two choices. One, if the attackers have sufficient movement points available to conduct another mobile assault, they may conduct another mobile assault immediately. So you can have more than one mobile assault in the same hex, in the same turn, if the movement allowance allows it. No reinforcement is allowed for either side. Recalculate the odds using only the surviving units, or 2, the attacking units may return to the hex from which the mobile assault was launched. There is no MP cost to do so, and continue its movement normally in any direction desired. Okay, so even if the attacker pulls back out of the mobile assault, its move is not necessarily immediately over. Okay, German assault gun infantry mobile assaults. All mobile assault rules apply to assault gun infantry mobile assaults except as modified. Every assault gun step enables up to one German infantry division or its equivalent in smaller infantry units to conduct an MA. For example, if a full-strength, two-step assault gun battalion started the German movement phase stacked with the 28th Jaeger and 26th Infantry Divisions, that entire stack would be eligible to make an assault gun assist mobile assault. Okay. Infantry units may conduct only one mobile assault per movement phase and must cease movement after conducting mobile assault. They may conduct a prepared assault in the subsequent combat phase. Okay. German assault gun infantry mobile assaults. Okay. Alright, so then we have prepared assaults. Prepared assaults in the combat phase. Each player's units may attack adjacent opposing units. The player making the attacks is the attacker. Defender attacks. Prepared assaults prepared assaults, to distinguish from German mobile assaults, are always voluntary. The attacker may make as many or as few prepared assaults as he wishes, and need not announce all attacks beforehand. He may resolve them in any order he wishes, except that Soviet-opposed landings must be resolved first. Soviet-opposed landings must be resolved first. Each battle must be resolved before the next has begun. No attacking unit may be involved in more than one prepared assault in a given combat phase. No enemy unit may be attacked more than once per combat phase. Okay, multiple unit, multiple hex combat. Okay, so the procedure. Total attack and defense factors. Modify both for supply and terrain. Divide to get the odds. Use to look at the CRT, find the column heading corresponding to the odds obtained. Roll the 6-sided die and implement the results. Okay. Effective results. Defender results applied first. The defender's combat result is always fully applied to the defending units before the attacker's combat result is applied to his. Mandatory Soviet losses. Soviet units must always take the first increment of a combat result on attack or defense, mobile assault or prepared assault as a step loss. Okay, so that means that the Soviets are automatically more prone to take step losses than the Axis. Retreats, counted in hexes. Line of retreat, further combat, advance after combat, restrictions, defender advance after combat. Okay, so you can have defender advance after combat. After any prepared assault only, in which the attacking units have been eliminated or have retreated from their assault hexes and the defender's combat result was 0, any or all of the defending units may occupy the vacated assault hex or hexes. That's interesting. Terrain and other combat modifiers. Okay. Terrain effects on combat. Okay. Okay. Concentric assault, supply and opposed landings. Okay. And finally, we'll look at, no, we did prepare, so we'll look at operational or supply checks. Okay, supply. Unit trace, a supply line to a supply source. All right, we already talked about supply sources before. Operational supply, tactical supply. The beginning, okay, so let's talk about operational supply. At the beginning of each calendar month, check each unit of both sides to see if it can trace a valid supply line to an operational supply source. Place an out-of-supply marker. Again, we have the color-coded out-of-supply markers. On each unit which cannot successfully trace supply, the marker remains on the unit throughout the month, regardless of the unit's ability to trace a supply line during the month. Out-of-supply markers have nothing to do with tactical supply. Okay, out-of-supply markers have nothing to do with tactical supply. A unit in tactical supply with an out-of-supply marker may move its full movement allowance and fight at full strength. At the end of each month, trace supply for each unit with an out-of-supply marker. If it cannot trace supply at that time to an operational supply source, it is eliminated and removed from play. So again, at the end of the month, if a unit that is marked with an out-of-supply marker cannot trace a line of supply to an operational supply source, it is eliminated and removed from play. Tactical supply for a unit must be checked each time it moves or engages in combat. Okay, including mobile assaults. No markers are provided for tactical supply. You don't need any. Tactical supply is determined and takes effect at the instant of movement and combat. Alright, so for movement, tactical supply must be checked each time a unit begins moving, either by regular movement or operational transfer. So both regular movement and op trans. A unit without tactical supply cannot conduct an op trans and may use only 1/2 its printed movement factors for regular movement round fractions up. So for combat, at the instant you begin to resolve any battle, check all units of both sides involved in that battle for tactical supply. Any unit which cannot trace a supply line may use only 1/2 of their combat in attack or defense factor in the combat round fractions up. Okay. Alright, so sounds like fairly significant supply rules. Without tactical supply, units will move and fight basically at half strength. Without operational supply, a unit that does not have operational supply for an entire month is gone. So that means, it seems, that would make it seem as though those months with only 1 or 2 player turn couplets, supply is a more serious deal than in those months with 3 player couplets, because it would seem less opportunities for reestablishing operational supply. And finally, we'll skip air units and air support. There's a rules section for that. Artillery and barrages. We'll go to victory, those special and special rules. Talked about some of those before. Basically, determining victory. How to win. Again, review. The German player wins the game by totally clearing the map of Soviet ground units at the end of his player turns, including the last. If he fails to do this by the end of his last player turn in calendar month 8, the Soviet player wins the game. Soviet prestige victory. Again, for review, play stops and Soviet players declared the winner of a prestige victory if by the end of the second calendar month. Yeah, that's December 1942. German has not succeeded in putting Sevastopol under siege. Sevastopol is under siege of hexes B8. This is B8 right here. B8, C8, and D7 are German-Romanian occupied. Or B7 and C7. So that would seem to pretty much automatically create the necessity for the Germans to drive on Sevastopol and not seriously consider other objectives early in the campaign.